just did a KWA review on the KM4S S system gun, and as you saw in the video, it was a cracking piece of equipment. We told you it could run on 11.1 LiPo. Well, it can, but I'm going to read you out an email that I received from KWA as a clarification point. I'll read it word for word. It says, one thing to be very aware of, 11.1 LiPos are for full power USA spec AEGs, not for 330 FPS downgraded versions. We don't recommend these to be used on any KWA AEG under 360 FPS, preferably 375 FPS, due to gearbox timing issues. Basically, the gearbox is designed to run at 375 FPS plus, and if you are using an 11.1 LiPo and anything under this power, there is a danger of timing sync problems and the BBs misfeeding, jamming up the gun and stripping the piston and section gear. Now, the 7.4 LiPos work great, as do any of the other nickel metal hydride packs, but they simply run too fast on a weaker spring if used with an 11.1 LiPo. So, it's a correction. The KWA guns technically can and do run an 11.1 LiPo, as we read in the blurb when we were testing the gun, but on downgraded guns that have to be downgraded to a joule and under, they don't advise you use them because of timing issues with the gearbox. So there you have it. That's really important to know, and as I said, we just wanted to clarify that point and keep you up to speed. And I want to thank KWA for being so fast in getting that piece of information to me to allow me to do this correction. The second part of this video is to show you what Main Irish Airsoft do to have their guns ready for sale in the Irish market. I think this should become an industry standard.
Basically, the reason we put these labels on all the guns is once we certify them, we label them, the gun goes out, and then somebody, doesn't matter who, they could take the thing apart, put a higher powered spring into it or whatever, they have to pull the label off, which will leave a void mark across the gearbox and the cylinder. If they increase the power of the gun and then they're subsequently caught with it on a site or by whoever, they cannot blame us for saying that we sold an over the limit gun. The certificate that we issue with the gun and the label, they're both serial numbered, and we keep a record of the serial number in the computer. It puts a lot of people in mind that is known that the gun is below the limit when they're buying it. These are our security labels that we use. Basically, pull them off, if I can get it. You put it across the seam or across the gearbox and cylinder, press it down. Now that it is stuck. Now I'll do it on this gearbox. When you go to pull one of these off after it's been pressed down to open the gearbox for whatever reason, it will show up void, and then we will know that the gun has been either opened by somebody or tampered with. Now, let's try pull this one off here. There, and you can see void all across the cylinder and gearbox casing. The reason it's on this side of the gearbox on the M4 is all the screws are on this side, so that when you have the gearbox out of the gun, to remove all the screws, and then in order to get this side of the casing off, it will tear the label and it will leave it like this on the, it'll say void all over it. That way then, if the gun is sort of over the limit and people say that they bought it from us, we will know that it has been opened by somebody else, not by us. As when we open them for anything, we always replace the label and give a new cert with the gun when they go back out.
Okay, now just to show people what we do with the guns before they leave the store. The biggest problem out there is guns being sold at illegal power levels, i.e. anything over 1 joule of energy. To allay fears for most of especially the new people getting into this sport, what we do is we put a labelling system onto our guns, as you saw earlier on. But I'm going to show you now how we actually chronograph the gun and show you the system that we use. Okay, first of all, we check that the hop-up is off. before we chronograph it. Magazine in. Now the chronograph we're using is the scan chronograph. The scan chronograph is the same system used by the guards in the depot here in Ireland, and that's how we found out about it. It has a calibration certificate which we get updated every year, and we can print out certificates for each gun with a 10-shot string to give you the result at the end. The first one here you'll see on the cert up above. .96, 0.89, 0.96, 96, 96, 98, 96, 96, 96, and 89. So very, very consistent right across. And on the certificate you will see at the top the serial number is matching the serial number that's on the tag on this gun. You have the name of the gun, you have the caliber, which is 6mm, the tester, the initials, the date, and underneath you have the current weight, which is a 0.2 gram BB. The number of shots is 10 shots. The velocity is 97.39 meters per second with a standard deviation of 0.49. The mean muzzle energy, i.e. your joule energy, is 0.95 joules with a standard deviation of 0.01. That just shows how accurate and how efficient this particular gun is. And we will print that cert out, we'll put the MIA stamp onto it, and that goes with this gun to the customer.